Hey guys, we're going to start some mixed number work today. Not that different from adding and subtracting fractions, but let's go ahead and quickly review the steps for adding and subtracting any fractions. First, we're going to start by writing them vertically. So we have 1/3 plus 1/6. We notice that the denominators are not alike, or we should say uncommon. We're going to find a common denominator by using our LCM strategy. Whatever we do to the denominator, we've got to do to the numerator. So if I look at these two numbers, I don't even have to list the multiples because I know that 3 is a multiple of 6. So 6 becomes our denominator. If I look, I'm going to multiply this by 1 to get 6, so it's going to stay the same. However, over here, I'm going to have to do something to this 3 to I don't want to say make it a 6, but to get to 6. So 3 times 2 would make that 6, would have the product of 6. So whatever I do to the denominator, I've got to do to the numerator to make it equivalent. So 1 times 2 is 2. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, please go back to the making equivalent fractions or finding the LCM lesson in your lesson library, and that will help you. The next step for adding and subtracting fractions is to add the numerator, and then the denominator stays the same. So I can add 2 plus 1, those are both the numerators. 2 plus 1 is 3, and my denominator is going to stay the same, which is 6. The last step is look at the sum here because we are adding, so it's a sum. Look at the sum and decide, is it in simplest form, lowest terms? Is it reduced? The answer here is no. Well, the strategy that most fifth graders use typically, and this year as well, is using that divide by 2, 3, 5, or 7, and that will work with our numbers that we're using most of the time here in fifth grade. So to simplify, remember those numbers are 2, 3, 5, and 7. So to simplify, we can ask ourselves, can I divide by both numerator and denominator by any of these numbers? So looking at these, I can divide 6 by 2, but 3 I cannot. So we can't use 2 to simplify here. Let's look at 3. Can I divide both numerator and denominator by 3? The answer is yes. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So these are equivalent fractions, but this is now in lowest terms or simplified. So 1/3 plus 1/6 is equal to 1/2. Okay, that should have just been a review. We've been working on that now for a couple of weeks. Let's take a look at a subtraction problem. We're going to do the same thing, the strategy of set it up vertically. So we have 3/4, take away 2/3. Okay, the steps stay the same. First, we have to look at those denominators and ask ourselves, are these common or alike? The answer is no. So we're going to find a common denominator first by listing. So because this is, I'm trying to get through this lesson so we can do mixed numbers, I'm not going to go make the whole list. Instead, for this one, I'm going to use the ECD that we talked about, the easiest common denominator. And the easiest common denominator is found by multiplying the two denominators together. I can get a reasonably low answer by multiplying these together, so that's the strategy I'm going to use. I'm going to multiply 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. I'm going to write that over here, so if you are watching this quietly, you'll know what I'm doing here. 4 times 3 are the denominators, and that would give me my common denominator here. So now we're going to do a little bit of work and ask ourselves, what did I do to this denominator? What did I do to this denominator? I'm going to have to start a second recording to get here, and I multiplied it by 4. So that means I'm going to have to multiply this one by 4. So 8/12 is equivalent to 2/3. Okay, so up here I'm going to do the same thing. I've got about 8 seconds before this is going to cut me off, and we'll have to go to the next one. So we've got 9.